Ora te whānau, no mai hoki mai. Now, in that video there was the introduction to 2.0. However, there are a lot of questions being asked, and also I want to show you an advanced way to back up your seed phrase. Now, this is vital just in general if you want to back up a seed phrase. But a couple of the questions that I've seen floating around, I've got one is can version 1.0 be upgraded to 2.0, and no. And the reason for that is because when the cards are manufactured, the chip is molded to the card, and that chip, the firmware, can never be updated. Okay, so it can never be changed, which means it can never be tampered with. So that's the purpose of that. So if you want the feature with the the seed phrase, you're going to have to purchase 2.0. All right. So I want to divert your attention to the screen here, and I'm just going to go over another couple of questions that have been asked. One is when importing or generating a seed phrase, should my device be offline? And the answer is yes. You should always have your device offline, and it's not hard. If you're on mobile, just disconnect from your Wi-Fi or just disconnect from the internet. So because you never know. Look, the chances are pretty slim, but you just never know. So you always got to take precautions. So whenever dealing with a seed phrase on a screen, always make sure that you're offline. All right. One of the other questions was, will the seed phrase be on the phone after activation of the cards? And the answer is no. And you can see here, wallet keys which are needed to manage your funds are created when you activate your card. The keys never leave the chip after the wallet activation and are not transferred anywhere. The primary purpose of the chip is to keep the keys safe and secure. Okay, so another one, how are wallet keys generated? The key is generated on the card using a hardware random number generator during card activation. Now, this is really important when a seed phrase and a private key is generated, because if the generator is not randomly creating enough entropy, which is what they mention here, the entropy, which is this. Entropy is often interpreted as the degree of disorder or randomness in the system. Okay, so here's an example. In this year, in April, funds of every wallet created within the Trust Wallet browser extension could have been stolen without any user interaction. So if we come down here, the reason for this is because, look, the total entropy was only 32 bits. Now, the way that this works is with a seed phrase that is 12 words, it should be 128 bits. Hence, you've probably seen before 128 bits, 256 bits. So 256 bits is actually a 24 word seed phrase, whereas a 12 word seed phrase is 128. So this 32 bits, because it was only 32 bits, it means that, the seed phrase can be brute forced by baddies, all right? It can be attacked. So, this is vital that you understand that the generator behind the seed phrase could be compromised like this was, all right? Or it could be intentional. They could be generating seed phrases that only have 32 bits in it, all right? So let's come back to security. The entropy for the random number is taken from the chip's physical sensors. This means that no one can ever know your private key. The hardware random number generator is a component of the Samsung produced chip. Now, with 2.0, you still have the option to use the normal method, which is just create the seed phrase on the card, all right? Which means the seed phrase will never be accessible, never visible, and this is the safest way when it comes to, obviously with Tangem. This is the safest way because nothing can ever be revealed, right? So let's have a look at this. How is the private key cloned on the backup cards? And a lot of people have asked about this too. When a backup is created, a secure communication channel is established between the cards using the Diffie-Hellman key exchange protocol, after which the keys are transferred from one card to the other. This mechanism is fully protected against man-in-the-middle attacks, since the first step involves the cards authenticating each other with a two-way attestation, and the encryption is done with a 256-bit key, which is what I was just talking about with bit. This is a top-level encryption protocol, and the application will not be able to decrypt the keys under any circumstances. So, is there a seed phrase in the wallet? All right, this is another question about seed phrases. Tangem does not use BIP39 seed phrase technology, believing it to be highly insecure. The presence of a key in plain sight is potentially vulnerability. Firstly, hot and warm wallets always have access to this key, which can be hacked. Secondly, having the key in an unsecured location at home, work, or elsewhere always involves a potential risk of compromise. Instead, Tangem offers a backup on 2 or 3 identical cards. Now, this is talking about the normal method. This is not talking about you importing a seed phrase or generating one, which you can do in 2.0, okay? So this is the ultimate security, the secure method, obviously, because there is no access to the seed phrase. However, in 2.0, because people wanted, there was a lot of customer feedback and people wanted the option to, generate, basically have access to their seed phrase. This is why they have now included 2 options, which is 1, generate the seed phrase, then which you can see, copy, and go and store somewhere, or you can import your own seed phrase that could be from any other wallet. It could be from, you might have a MetaMask wallet. All right. Now, bear in mind that when you import that seed phrase, if you want to, for example, import your MetaMask seed phrase into Tangem, then you've got to make sure that all the tokens that you've got on that MetaMask, they could be on different networks. Like somebody was talking about Pulse Chain. If you've added Pulse Chain tokens to that MetaMask, just remember that Pulse Chain is not yet, at the time of this video, is not yet activated or available in the Tangem ecosystem. So because of that, you won't see those Pulse Chain tokens. However, they're always going to be connected to that seed phrase, so you can always re-import that seed phrase. But also remember one thing too, is that when you create a seed phrase in MetaMask, it is only the first address that is created that is bound to that seed phrase. So if you move your seed phrase from MetaMask, if you use your seed phrase, if you've created more than one account, more addresses in MetaMask, they will not all move with that seed phrase. It'll only be the initial one. So now I have a way to combat this, and I have a way that you can actually figure this out and bind more addresses to a seed phrase, which I'm going to go through in this video. The technical side of it, it's a little bit technical, but this is the premium way to secure your seed phrase, enable complete accessibility. All right. So how do I find my private key? The card is based on a chip that generates a private key during the wallet creation process using a hardware random number generator. So this using a hardware random generator, they're also using a generator to generate, the keys and that. So are you 100% sure that the entropy is more than 32 bits? No. You will never be sure on the actual generation process of a seed phrase unless you do it yourself, right? Now, there is a way to do this, which I'm going to show you in this video. The key never leaves a chip in an encrypted state or after the wallet is activated. The chip's primary purpose is to keep the key safe and secure. This means that no one can ever find out your private key. The secret is safe, even from you, okay? Where is the guarantee? This is another question about, the private key or the seed phrase being, Tangem having access to it after it's been generated and after it's been put on the chip. Where is the guarantee that the manufacturer doesn't know the key? All right. The Tangem card doesn't have a private key initially. The key is generated when the wallet is created and the card is tapped against the mobile device. Moreover, public and private keys will be regenerated if you reset the card to factory settings and recreate the wallet, which is what I'm going to show you in this video also. The firmware has been audited by the independent Swiss company Kadulski Security. The firmware audit confirms that the private key is created using a hardware random number generator, which is what I talked about, and that there are no other backdoors or bugs that could result in the loss of funds. Okay, and there's also, you can see the audit. Okay, so look, that's basically, most of the questions are all about the seed phrase. Okay, now with 2.0, you can import and you can generate a seed phrase. Now, I want to show you also the factory reset. All right, and then I'm going to show you a way that you can create your own seed phrase. All right, and have a master key, and then derive seed phrases off that master key. Now, this is the ultimate security system. All right, because you create this yourself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you just the reset of the card first. All right, so I've already reset the other two cards. All right, because I obviously had no funds. You don't want to reset this if you've got funds on it. But if you have access to your seed phrase, then you can always import that into another wallet and get access. But I'm just doing it for the purposes of this video. So I've already factory reset 2 of the cards. I'm going to reset the third one. All right, so that means all 3 cards will be reset, which means I'll have to go through the process of activating the cards again. Okay, so I'm going to come up here to the 3 dots, and I'm going to click on card settings, and then I'm going to click on scan card. All right, I'll just use my biometrics. Okay, this is the last card, so I'm going to scan that one. Okay, and then I'm going to click on reset to factory settings. Okay, yes, I understand. Reset the card, biometrics again, card again. Okay, and that's now reset. Okay, now it's showing another account that I have in here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on these 3, so everything's reset. So these cards, in theory, should be back to, I have to activate them again. So if we come to the wallets, and then I come to add new wallet, okay, I'm going to bring this card up again. Okay. All right, generate keys privately. Okay, now this is back to starting the whole system, the process again, with activating your 3 cards. Okay, now see the create a wallet option. This is the normal process that is on 1.0. So it creates the seed phrase and the keys on the chip for you, and that's it. You never have access to them. So if you want to take the safest route is this, because you'll never see the seed phrase, and nor will anybody else, so there'll be no access to it. But bear in mind that you've got 3 cards and they are the keys, so you'll have to store them in separate locations and make sure that they're stored securely. Now, I'm going to show you this, but if you're doing this, you need to be doing this offline. Okay, you don't do this online. All right, because you don't want to be showing your seed phrase to anyone, regardless of if you're going to be hacked or not. You might never get hacked, but this is a precaution. So always do this offline. So create a wallet. Well, I'm going to go other options. Okay, I'm going to click on other options. Now here you can generate the seed phrase or import your wallet. Now, if you generate the seed phrase, the Tangem random generator is generating that seed phrase for you. So you aren't 100% sure of the entropy, the randomness of that seed phrase. Now, I'm not saying that they don't use the highest of standard, because with Tangem, I have no doubt they do. But at the same token, if you want to have full control and full knowledge that the seed phrase that you have is of the utmost security, you do it, you create it yourself. Okay? So if I generate the seed phrase here, it's going to give me that, right? Okay, and so I can copy that down and, then store it safely and all that. But if I come back and I go to import wallet, this gives me the option to, input my own seed phrase. Now, I know what a lot of people are going to do. They're going to get their seed phrases from MetaMask, or they're going to get them from wherever, and they're going to put them in here and they're going to import the wallet, all right? But those seed phrases still were not created by you. They were created by the platform, for example, MetaMask. And just like we saw with, Wallet Connect, this can happen, okay? It might, look, I'm not saying it will, but I'm just saying that you don't know 100% how much entropy your seed phrase has on it. Okay, so how do we get around this? Well, years and years ago, I actually used this tool, but I want to show you this tool because this is how you can create. Now, I'll go into detail in another video about this, get really technical with it, but I want to show you the nuts and bolts. Okay, so on the screen, you can see this tool. Now, I want to make sure that you understand that this is run locally. So this is run straight from my desktop. This is offline. Okay, so when you do this, you want to make sure that you're not connected to the internet and that you have downloaded this and you're running it, the browser actually on your own computer and not online. Okay, because you never know what's going to happen with your seed phrase. But if you're doing it like this, there is no chance of it being, copied or whatever. Now, right here, I'm going to show you briefly how this works. I don't want to go into extreme details because that's for another video, which I'm going to create. But the way that this works is you can create your own seed phrase, okay? And you can randomly control the randomness of it. So the way that this works, for example, for Tangem, and for most things, they use 12 words. Okay, so we're going to click on 12. All right. Now, when I click on generate, this will actually generate a 12-word seed phrase here. But I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to control the entropy. I want to control the randomness of it. Okay. So then I know for sure I've created the seed phrase and I know how much randomness is on it. Okay. So the way that we do this is we click on the show entropy details. If I click on this, you can see here it's got accepts either binary, base 6, 6-sided die, dice, base 10, or whatever. So there's different ways of creating entropy for your seed phrase. The dice is a really great way to do it. So a die, a dice that you roll, like in a casino, you need one of those. All right. Don't use an online generator. Physically do this yourself. All right. You will select die here, and then you'll get a die, roll it. And if the first number here is, for example, 2 on the die, put it here. If the next number you roll is a 4, put it in here. Next one is a 3, put it in here, 2, and keep going until the total bits becomes 128. Because 128 bits of entropy equals 12 words for your seed phrase. Okay, if this was 256 bits, you've probably heard or seen the term 128 and 256. If this was 256, it would be 24 word seed phrase. Okay, so you'll just keep going here. I'll just do a few here. Obviously, you wouldn't do this. This would be all dice rolls. Okay, keep going. Keep going. We've got 96, 104, 112. 118, 24, 26, 128. Okay, so these would have all been single dice rolls. And that creates complete randomness because you're controlling it. No one else is, you are. All right. So now if we come down, we have 12 words. All right. So here is your 12-word seed phrase. Now, one further step, this 12-word seed phrase, you can derive another seed phrase off it. Okay, so this here becomes what's called as your master key, your master seed phrase. So this is the one that you really want to safeguard and put it, bury it and put it in your garden somewhere in a metal box, and inside that, plastic bag, and inside that, make it a steel seed phrase container. Because what you can do is you can derive or create as many seed phrases off this one as you want. So let me show you how this works. And this is good because you could use one seed phrase for MetaMask, one seed phrase for Trust Wallet, and then you're diversifying your crypto, and you're not going to be open to a single attack vector. Okay, so if we come down here, this is for Bitcoin. Okay, but I can change this to Ethereum. So I'll come down here and I'll change this to Ethereum. Now this same seed phrase, right? The same seed phrase, you can create, Bitcoin addresses off it, Ethereum addresses of it, whatever. Okay. So I'm going to come down. Now see, this is important right here. show BIP85. Now this is how you can derive, it's called a child key, which is a child seed phrase from the parent, which is the master key. Okay, so I click on here. You can see right down here, index is 0. So this here is a complete new seed phrase that has been derived off your master seed phrase. So if you ever lost this, you could simply just put in your master seed phrase and it will give you this. And you can get it back. All right. Now I just want to show you something. This is 1, but if I actually click on here and put in a 1 for an index, you watch what happens. This will change to a new one. See that? If I put in 2, a new one. Okay? So this means that you can create derive as many seed phrases off your master as you want. Now just think about that, because it gives you complete control. Not only will you have a backup of this, because obviously if you use this particular seed phrase for Tangem, you'd want to back this up. But in the case that you lose your 3 cards that have got this seed phrase burnt onto the cards, if you lost your 3 cards and you lost this seed phrase somehow, you would still have your master key, which you can just input in here and you get this back and recover everything. Okay. Now, what's cool is that if we take this seed phrase, I'm going to copy this, right? Now make sure, of course, that you have written down your, your master key, all right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this. So I'm going to refresh this page. All right, I'm going to now come back up here. I'm going to change that to 12. I'm going to paste in my child key that I just created. Okay, now this is Bitcoin by default, but I'm going to change this back to Ethereum. All right, now if I scroll down, this is the seed phrase. Now look at this down here. All these addresses are bound, linked to that seed phrase. So this here, this seed phrase, this address right here, now look, you have all the private keys over here. All the private keys are available for every address, public and private. Now, this address right here, if I was to import this child seed phrase to MetaMask, instead of using their one, but I import this, this will be the one address that shows as default when you first import the seed phrase into MetaMask. All right. Now, normally, as I've mentioned, if you add another address in MetaMask and then you use that seed phrase in another device, it will only ever show you the first one created. All right. Well, here you have access to all the addresses that are actually bound to that seed phrase. So when you create a wallet, a MetaMask wallet using this seed phrase, importing it, it'll give you this address as the default. And then if you add another address in MetaMask, this will be the next address that you see. Okay, so this is a way of having complete control over your seed phrase. Complete. All right, and this is also the safest way. So, do yourself a favor and do this. All right, because then you'll have complete control. I'm going to do another video on all the details on this, but for now, I'm going to leave this, a link to this, in the description. Make sure I'll leave a link to actually where you can download it and put it on your computer, because don't use the online version. Okay, don't do that, because you'll open yourself to an attack. All right, so now that we've got these, this is our child. Okay, we've already stored our master key. This is our child. Now we can use this to import onto our Tangem. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly pause the video. I'm going to get those and I'm going to import them into Tangem. All right. And the way that I'll do that is I'm back here. I've reset all my cards, so I'm doing this all again. So I'm going to click on that other options. All right. And then I'm going to click on import wallet. Okay. And then I'm going to click in here and I'm going to paste that seed phrase in here. And now I know I've got complete control over it. Okay, because it's just a derived one off my master. All right. So even if I put it on this Tangem and I lose all my cards and I forget what this seed phrase is, or I lose it, I've still got my master, which I can then get this back. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab that seed phrase. I'm going to put them all in here and then I'll come back. Okay, so now I've brought those in. So this is my child key. derived from my master. So I'm going to click on create wallet. Okay, I'm going to scan that card. Okay, so now we're back to the whole initial process again, which is backing up. We have to activate the other 2 cards. All right, so I'm going to quickly click on backup. I'm just going to fast forward through this because you've already seen this in the first video. But if you haven't seen this, I'm just creating backups. So every time I back up a new card, it's baking that seed phrase, and this becomes a key. All right, so add backup card. I'm going to click on this, another one, and then the finalize, add a backup card. That one's done. Okay, finalize backup. This is your access code that you need to do. All right, make sure that you remember this one. Okay, scan the primary card. Now it shows you the number on here. It shows you 1256. So you've got to make sure that you've got the card that's got the 1256 on the back of it, which I've got right here. Okay, so I'm going to scan it. Click on scan, and then do that. It's going to ask me to hold it, and you can't move it. You've got to make sure that you hold it. Okay, I'll fast forward this. Okay, that's that one done. Okay, done. Congratulations. Okay, so we're back to where we were in the other video, which is now continue to my wallet. Okay, so wallet's all ready to go. It's just loading here, and this is back to normal. So I'm going to obviously resettle this because I've just shown you all my seed phrases and everything on this. So this was just a demo, but that's how easy it is. And what's important to note is the seed phrase. You created it. You created the entropy on it. So 100% in your mind you are secure, and there's nothing that can nothing can brute force your key. And you've created a master key. You've then derived another seed phrase from that, which you've used in here. So even if you do lose your 3 cards and you do lose that seed phrase somehow, you've still got your master, which you can get your derived seed phrase that you've used on here again. Okay, so you've got full access. So look, oh yeah, just one thing I wanted to show you, which is really cool. If you see that top left-hand little icon there, if I click on this, you can see I've got 3 wallets in here. Okay, so I've got the new one, and I've got 2 other ones that I use regularly. All right, and then on this phone, right, this phone here is never online. All right, and I've got a Tangem app installed here, and I've got my portfolio cards and that on here for the family and all that. So this one here is a live one that I use, just on a regular basis, and this here has got all my other stuff on it. And that phone I don't use anymore. All right, so that's just a way you can have as many wallets as you want on here. You can see that I've got 3. You could, have 10 sets of cards if you wanted for different things. So look, I hope that's helped. Security is of the utmost importance. Have yourself an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video. Kia kaha.